You asked for icons, I'm giving you icons. 105 to be exact. Beautiful people, what's happening? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Right off the rip, we got 105 baby icons. The base icon. If you enjoyed this type of video, please drop a like. It takes a lot of effort to put this together. It is free to like a video. It tells me to put out more of this goodness. And I have 2 questions. It's gonna come in quick fire. First off, top 3 highest rated players in your lineup. Comment below, please and thank you. And also 1 surprise player that puts in work, gets busy, authentic, credible, nasty with the business. Hashtag organics. You can put that in the comments. Let's begin. Endgame, God tier, top tier, mid tier, discard tier. You understand. Vazio! I think he's got to start off in the midi. There's going to be some negotiation, some back and forth. I've never done a tiers list with this many players. Balik joining him, the German. Baresi. Oh, is he in the discard? I'm still putting him in the mid. Don't think that's fair. Barnes, unusual body type. I sort of like him. We've got history. Beckham, we're just attacking the mid tier. Clearly, Birdcamp. Y'all would come after me if I went discard. But the baby version in particular, I've got my questions, and as do you. Still think I'm going to inch him to the mid for now. Remember, there will be movement towards the end. I wanted 5 different categories for a reason. Georgie Best, top tier. I like the 90 overall. If you did the SBC, congratulations. If you haven't, it's still available. At least while this video is being recorded. Blanc, not my favorite, but too many of you appreciate the big body type. Kind of an unusual center mid. Unfortunately, the price tag is typically a little heftier, really for the rating and the output. Maybe not the output, but the rating. Butragueno, I like this guy. He's kind of in between the top and the god for yours truly. One of the first players to make it known, to hammer it home, that you don't need 4 or 5-star skills to be prevalent, to be impactful as an attacker. Vamos. Cafu. New to FIFA. He's got to go into the god right off the ripperoo. Sol Campbell. Not a big fan. I just always have problems with him. That has not changed for yours truly. If you're going for Sol Campbell, a bit more of an off-brand icon, you got to go higher rated. Canavaro, kind of on the cusp. I think I'm going to inch him into the top tier. Cantona starting the god, almost endgame ready. I have him currently. I got blessed by the FIFA gods. Brilliant. Spectacular. He might be moving. I'm just saying. I don't think I would have to replace him, even at the end of the FIFA installment, unless I wanted to. El Capita. Carlos Alberto. Going to the top. I wish he was a little more physical. Remember, he's not the biggest body type for a center back. Roberto Carlos, a lot of pace, joining the top. Casillas, midi. I don't love Casillas. I might be being friendly. Just showing some respect to put him in the mid. He's just undersized the goalkeeper. Petr also going to go into the mid. Goalkeeper is so subjective. If you know, then you know. You've been around the channel for a minute. It's difficult to rank them properly. I can give you my very biased viewpoint. Ashley Cole. I'm inching him into the top. We'll see. Crespo's in the mid this year, sadly. Johan! Cruyff turning everywhere. Endgame, baby. If you get yourself a Cruyff in any sort of pack, and you guys will co-sign this, I'm sure, in the comments section, which, please, by all means, use it. Let me know your opinion on the icons. Many of you have these gentlemen. King Kenny over Prince this year. I'm giving him the top tier position. You don't see him used unless he was packed, and that's not by accident. Something's just a little bit off. Deco never gets busy. Del Piero is very close to a god tier for me. I don't know if it's some of that Italian blood, but I've put in a lot of work with Del Piero. But with that being said, we're leaving him for the top. Desai, solid, top tier. Drogba, I'm going to put him into the mid tier mainly because there's a challenge with using Drogba. There's a learning curve, and some of you will love him. Some of you will really struggle that he does not have the agility or the side to side, the lateral, the quickness that you're looking for. He doesn't generate that. Essien, do you want to really put him into the mid? Essien has a good FIFA history. Mike, I'm talking to you. Also discussing with you. 75 passing for a center mid bothers me. You got to upgrade that. Eto'o. Ooh, I think he's got to move. He's joining the Cantona and Cafu boys. Eusebio, endgame. A lot of you ask me between Eusebio and Cruyff. It really comes down to the skills for many of you that have that request and how important that is, where you value it. This year, I prefer Eusebio. If we're just comparing baby versus baby, I'm giving you that answer in this video. Ferdinand. I think he has to still be in the god. Too much FIFA history. There are a lot of center backs that would be reputable, I'm not mad if you have him in the top. Garincha, God tier. Gattuso, don't come after me. Just doesn't offer you what you need. Nothing special about him. The same with Gerrard. It's really just the passing that you're paying for. Could push him into the mid. Maybe I'll make that adjustment, but that's the situation. There's going to be a lot on screen if that wasn't clear. A lot. Giggs, I just can't use him. No weak foot, no skill moves, just limited. Guardiola, put him into the middies. This Rude Hullet is not the Rude Hullet you want and nowhere near the mid or the prime. I just want to be very clear-cut and transparent. Henry, oh, he should be so much better. But he's not. He's just not. I think it's a reach to put him into the top. He's on the cusp, but I think it's a reach. Haji, the Romanian. Hernandez with the burner, just not a complete package. Piero also going into the mid. I'm telling you, I'm running up this mid tier. Inzaghi, I apologize in advance if you packed him or if you saw him in a player pick. However you received him, I'm sorry. My condolences. Kaká into the top scenario, okay? Mr. Keane, physical, aggressive, mean mugging, but no usability. Just doesn't fit the meta. Miroslav, same story, and I love Miroslav Klose. Fanboy. Kluivert, midi, used to make a run for it back in the day. Do you remember the Kluivert and Crespo? That combination, that partnership, it was a real thing. The old school FIFA heads will know. Maybe even the new school FIFA enthusiasts should know. Coleman, it's just difficult where to play him. You wish he was a little faster to center back, but he's got other statistics that are attractive that you normally don't get with some of the passing and the shooting for that position in particular. Philipp Lahm just doesn't do enough. Philipp Lahm, maybe he does just enough to go into the top. Could be a stretch. Lampard, mid, similar to Gerrard. You don't get that much more. If you like one, you're like the other. If you dislike one, you're probably also going to dislike the other. Larson, not cutting it for me. I can't find any work rate or playthrough. Just doesn't give me that feel, that essence. I don't get this icon advantage. Laudrup, oh, terrible. Stat-wise, when you look through some of the allocations with Laudrup in general, even going through other versions of his icon improvement, that storytelling, that narrative, it's always the same. Things are missing. Lineker, put him into the mid. Might be a slight reach. That's where he's going. Litman in. You're not getting lit with this version in particular. I've liked him through some of the previous years, but I need an upgrade. I can't use that one. Figo, I'm putting him into the top, but he's a borderline player. Figo shares, in at least my opinion, the sentiment of I want more, I expect more, and he almost always slightly under-delivers. Good, but not great. Makaleli, I really enjoyed this item, actually. He almost makes an argument for top tier. He's always been the cheaper Conte, I would say. And we're going to scroll through these players. I know, a ton is going down. There's a lot on screen. I'm aware. Maldini, the left back, but you got to play him as a center back. Probably not that far off being even a god tier player. I think I'm going to bump him up. Just don't play him as a fullback. I like Maldini. There's a certain essence or confidence that he really controls that back line. Maradona, ooh, endgame, or god tier. I think we're leaving him at god right now. I actually want to move Cantona up because I've just been using him so much. And the completeness with the 5-star skill package, the 4-star weak foot, he's 6'2", all the stats you could ask for in all the major categories, and he still moves and grooves as if he is a small, agile player, which is very rare. It's unusual for these big body types. Lothar, most of his items I feel will fall into the same area. Maybe with the prime it starts to shift. Bobby Moore, a little bit underrated. I got him in the mids. Nakata, pack him again. Apologies. I'm sorry. It happens. We're all familiar. Nedved, I like him too much not to have him in the top. Always puts in work at the beginning of every single year. Nesta, 88 overall, but he's still going discard for me. And you're seeing double rows now officially. JJ, midi. A lot of these players are going to come into the midi or the discard discussion. Very few will end up in this god or endgame, which makes sense. Overmars, mid. Another underrated player, but I'd still prefer a higher rated version. Michael Owen this year has really dropped for me. He's got to be in the discard. Pele, you already know where he's going. One of the world's best, world's greatest. Endgame. All day, every day. And some of you have asked, do you need to upgrade your Pele? Not necessarily. That 91 will live on forever. FIFA cycle, he's good. Petit, I hate him. I don't know how to use the left back version of this player in particular. It's bad as a left back, bad as a center back, bad as a center mid, bad as a holding mid. Don't play him anywhere offensive. It wouldn't make sense. Pirlo, I like him, don't love him. You need the upgraded stamina into the mids. Beautiful hair, the wine enthusiast. Pires, oof, no-go zone. Puskas, he's not going to quite get into endgame for me. He's going to go into the god. He's a little more a complete package. That 3-star weak foot hurts him. Puyol, I love everything about him in real life. The effort, the ambition, the hard work ethic. You name it, he has it. Puts everything on the pitch. Respect him. Raul, this is not the one. Rijkaard, absolutely not the one. Riquelme, there is no one. If you watch The Matrix, he's not getting involved. He stays on the sidelines. Rivaldo moving up to the mid. Dino, oof, I want him to be so much higher. The other two versions, to be fair, with the mid or the prime, different story, different discussion, but this is a base or a baby icon tiers video. Ronaldo, okay, now it gets a little more interesting. He could almost be in the top, but I still feel God tier is the correct placement, at least at this moment. You want the 94, and of course, if somehow you manage to get a prime, congratulations. Wayne Rooney, new to the game, still not moving up from the middies. Rui Costa this year is missing, again, that icon persona. It's just not there. It doesn't have the smell. I need that ambiance. Ian Rush, mid. Schmeichel, mid. I wouldn't be mad if you had a goalkeeper in a different placement, but I just, again, reiterate, it's subjective, as are any of my opinions, but goalkeepers just in particular, a whole different scale or skew. Everything is opinionated. You have one bad weekend and you say that guy is awful. I understand. Scholes, I hate to do it to him. Discard. Swiney, got to play him as a center mid or a holding mid. Socrates, kind of a weird player in terms of where do you play him. That's always been the question mark. Wow, we have 4 rows in the mid. That tells you a lot about some of the icons. I just don't feel comfortable, even with Seedorf. And I've gotten questions, and I enjoy using Seedorf. But at this point of FIFA, even early on, he's always on the cusp, mid to top. There's players that are comparable, that you can compare and contrast with. Alan Shearer, one of the greatest Premier League goal scorers of all time, but they did not give him any love this year. Shevchenko, not used enough. Sanchez, same thing, not used enough. What happened to the Mexican international? Stoichkov, I quite like him. I think we got to bump him up just a tad bit. Stoichkov is going to make a move. And we could have additional movement at the end of the video. Do not go anywhere because, in fact, I can almost guarantee I'm going to have some adjustments before you get in the comment section or as you get in the comment section. Baby Torres, midi. Trezeguet, absolutely not. Discard, baby, discard. Schuker, I like him a lot. I think we're going to do something that might be a controversial play. Schuker's going into the top for me. I really like Schuker this year. Van Basten, you can't use him, can't run with him, can't work him out. Out of all the icon goalkeepers, Van der Sar is my favorite, easily. And I'm going to give him that one bump where he goes into the top tier. A lot of people will agree that the baby variation of Van der Sar is pretty unique, pretty special. Even more so if you're dating back to previous installments of FIFA within the franchise. Van Nistelrooy, trash tier. Robin Van Persie. Should he go to top? Does he belong here? I mean, the pace is important. I'm gonna move him. I'm just gonna move him slightly. Varane, middies. Vidic, I'm a fan. Vidic is going to go up. We're going to get him into at least the top category. I don't think he can quite make an argument to really have that placement into the God status or status. How do you say that word? Status or status? Because I've heard it pronounced both ways. Vieira, moving on up. Look at this, look at this, look at this. God tier all day, every day, but not quite end game. Players start catching up for sure around team of the season. Vieri, may your controller rest in peace, or your monitor, you're going to be unhappy. Ian Wright, I think I like him too much not to put him into the mid. Beautiful man in terms of his personality, his outlook on life. Highly appreciate you, Ian. If you say that's biased, so be it. I like Xavi this year as well. If you're in the mid, it doesn't mean I don't like you or dislike you or have issues with you. I'm just looking at recommendations for all of you at home. And players that you're going to get on with, that you're going to be able to relate to, that are going to have that expressive feel and really make a difference in your team. And for me, that doesn't start until you get into the top and then really moves forward as you get into, of course, the God and the end game players. That selection. Yashin, still going mid. Zambrata, okay, we got to make moves here. I like Zambrata. Still a stretch to be in the God tier, but I rate him. Maybe he's there, potentially. Zanetti has been missing something for me. I think it's the physical side or the jumping or the bumping and the moving. I need that strength. I want a presence. Zidane. Okay. I think God tier's right. Not quite end game. We're really reserving that for this primetime group of attackers. And then last but not least, we have Zola. Let's go. Zola's going to get into the top. He's one of the most usable baby icons, especially if you're looking for discount options early on in any FIFA installment. Zola could fill in. He can do the job. Let's review and make some changes. We'll start from the bottom and work our way up. Discards, I don't think any of these guys are going to make moves. I had strong opinions, bold opinions for some of them perhaps. This is where they're at. Mid-tier. Now this is where it could get interesting because we have so many players. I mean, look how many players. It's unbelievable. From the mids, who could go up or go down? Jose, insert some thinking music. Jeopardy style, perhaps. Drogba can't get the push. Coleman can't get the push. The goalkeepers you could if you wanted. Bird can't win it. I'm okay with Henry moving up, even though for our own personal expectation as football fans, and if you were there for the Invincibles or throughout his career, Henry's been so special, and in FIFA it just doesn't translate how it should. That's where I'm at. The rest of these gentlemen are placed properly in my opinion. As we move up, top tier, Georgie Best. Blanc could go to the mid. I would understand your argument if you wanted to have that argument. You want to make a case. I'm not sure any of these iconic folks will move into the God. In fact, I think the God and Endgame are really on a whole notch up, which in theory, that's how tiers work. They should be a notch up. I'm standing by it. And then it just feels reserved. Cruyff, Eusebio, Cantona, and Pele. And I understand if you don't want Cantona there. But for me, my experiences, playing with him, playing against him, he's got the juice. If you have not liked the video and you're at this point, please drop some love. Highly appreciated. It is free to subscribe as well, of course. Let me know in the comments your top 3 highest rated players in your lineup. One surprise player would be amazing. I don't care if he's under the radar, high rated, low rated, cheap, expensive. You can choose. I just got something brewing. I'm cooking. Chef Dirty Mike. Hashtag organics. And I have a lot more content coming out ASAP.